My relationship with alcohol's had to change. I think it's a far healthier relationship. It's probably a relationship now that a lot of people have quite naturally, but it's something that I've had to work at. Sports played a huge role in my life, probably from the age of 5 or 6. As it does when you become a teenager, alcohol starts getting introduced. The social side of sport became increasingly just more important. I'm always very conscious about my relationship with alcohol. It's been a very social part of my life, but the challenge has come when I started to struggle with my own mental health after my son was born, that relationship changed quite quickly. My son played a huge role, as it would do for any parent. I was always excited to be a dad. Still of a probably slightly old-fashioned mindset that the role of a dad was to protect. When my son was born, he was rushed to intensive care because he couldn't breathe. And it was a feeling that it was my fault. I felt like I'd failed already. I had one job to protect my son, and within an hour I'd failed on that. I didn't understand why I was feeling like that. I didn't know where to turn, to the point that led to a number of suicide attempts because I felt the world would be better off if I wasn't there. And an accelerant to all of that was then my relationship with alcohol changing. I did a series of counselling. I did 6 sessions where we explored the kind of option that I had postnatal depression. And for a short period of time, that was fine. Unfortunately, that was a short-term thing. It was that 3rd attempt that, through desperation, I walked through the door of Andy's Man Club. Going through the door was probably the hardest thing. And I remember going and sitting in the car park. There's a knock on the window, and a guy, obviously a stranger, says, "Oh, are you here for Andy's Man Club?" And he said, "Come on, I'll walk in with you." I remember a guy talking about his week, was talking about having his kids for that weekend, and said that he'd had an amazing time, even though he used to struggle being a dad. And straight away, that was the first time I'd ever heard a man vocally say that they struggled. He gave me an element of hope that night, that things could get better for me. I still love a drink. I still love to go out, but my relationship with alcohol has had to change. It's an area that I'm very, very conscious of. I will not put myself in a situation that is then going to risk how I feel. I know that if I drink excessively, the chances are my mental health is going to suffer. I think if it's you worried about your drinking, then there are so many people that are in the situation that you're in. The biggest thing I can say is if you don't change, nothing will change. So you have to take that first step. And if you're supporting anybody that might have a challenging relationship with alcohol, is do not judge. Have conversations, listen, but listen without judgment.